Hi everyone, Jerry Opoka here, and I welcome you back to my channel. Today I'm going to speak about mental illness generally. So I take 10 years plus of experience and knowledge that I have in the space of health, fitness, mental wellness and nutrition to help us understand a human being, understand our bodies, the body's language of communication, and how best we can support it. And mental illness or mental unwellness is really when the mind is not processing things right, when reality is skewed for the person who is mentally unwell, and we who are quote unquote well mentally are the ones who are perceiving this person and saying, you know what they're saying and what appears to be reality are off. You know, maybe they're afraid of something that doesn't seem like, even when they explain, you do not see that it is something to be that afraid of, or that a certain situation is actually playing out like they think. However, it's important to realize that this is reality to them. It is another reality that they are now privy to. To them, it is absolute truth. And the confusion is coming from the fact that they are dipping into this reality and another reality, where things are playing out differently. The challenge is that they are not able to reconcile the different realities, because we also do not have the skills to do that. And we've never been allowed to explore the fact that there actually is a different reality, and what does it really, really mean. We only know snippets of it when we are told, oh, there's spirits, there's demons and things like that. So there's a lot of fear connected to it. As physical beings with physical bodies in a physical world and reality, we forget that there is another reality, that there is a spiritual reality. So when somebody says they hear things and they see things, we are very quick to brush them off as being mental, meaning they are, for the politically correct term, they are mad. So when I think about how we support people who have mental health problems, they do therapy. People want to go to church. In fact, before they go to therapy, they go to church, because church is accepted. When you're having issues that are not physical, you feel like it's a spiritual attack, like we've been taught, you go to church. Sometimes it gets worse, and somebody will, when now it starts to manifest into the physical, someone will say, oh, maybe I know a traditional healer who can help you, and they'll take you there and try and figure out what it is. But the fact that a person who is going through some mental health challenges starts with prayer, and then they go to church to find a religious leader, or to help them, or they will go to a traditional healer. All these are spiritual interventions that we are engaging in. And when that doesn't work, people say those things don't work. Come and see a therapist. What does the therapist do? They talk, and as they're talking, they are tapping into wherever it is that this is coming from, to help you kind of see that this is the reality and this one is not. So they help put you back in alignment with yourself, which is what the church would have done in their different way, by tackling it from a spirit perspective. Same with a traditional healer. So my belief is that the veil, because there is a veil that separates the physical reality from the spiritual reality, that veil thins. And there's a number of reasons why that veil will thin. So in doing, for example, the nutrition work that I've been doing, I've had people, most of the people who have come to my program, when they're talking about their challenges, there is a mental health aspect. There is a form of depression. There is anxiety. In fact, it's amazing to me how much anxiety exists, before we even talk about depression. And by the time someone is articulating it, it is that serious in their lives, in their world. But as soon as we start the program, they say, you know what? The anxiety is gone. I no longer feel that fear. And I know then that the food that they're eating and how they're eating it is fixing something in their physical that is supporting them in that spiritual aspect. I'll give an example. Someone came on the program and she had an acute, we did not know it was a vitamin deficiency, but she had anxiety issues, and she also had what is called vertigo. Vertigo is when you feel like the world shifts. And the minute I heard that, it was not the first time I was hearing it, but the minute I heard that, I thought, what is that shift? What is that imbalance that people feel? And I thought to myself, that could well be someone dipping in and out of a different realm. Because I know people who also do dip in and out of realms. And they will explain it as a feeling. It's like you walk through like a portal. And in that space where you're at the entryway of the portal, there's a bit of a disorientation until you come out on the other side, and then you're like, oh, okay. We also experience it sometimes in meditation. You will go through a meditation sometimes that is so powerful that you feel like you shifted. Yeah? And that shift, because in meditation you are intentional and you're opening yourself up, your heart, your soul, your everything to this experience. It is not a scary experience. So during the research that I was doing for the program, I learned that a vitamin B1 deficiency will make you anxious. A vitamin B1 deficiency will make you have vertigo. It will make you feel like you're dizzy, but the dizziness is like a wave. Well, I guess dizziness is really like a wave. But this is not a dizziness because you did not eat. You feel like you're doing everything right, but you get into these waves. They come with anxiety, and for people, when it can grow to a place where you have what are they called, panic attacks. It can also lead you to have nightmares when you sleep. And I thought to myself, how is that possible? Because I know that nightmares, when we sleep, by the way, our spirit leaves the body while we're chilling and doing nothing, not experiencing anything. It goes off and it waits for you, because sleep is the physical body's way of getting rest and recalibrating and regenerating for the next day and for the days to come. So when that is happening, your spirit or your soul doesn't need to rest. So it goes off gallivanting. And these are the experiences that then form what we call dreams. They're actually a different reality. So people who have, for example, a vitamin B1 deficiency their veil is going to thin, and they will be led to that reality without their control, or without their asking to go there, or without their wanting to go there. And then because you've gone through that, you're kind of like, oh my God, what happened? Like, why am I feeling so afraid? Then there are those, and I'll come back to that, there are those who see and hear things. This is what is called auditory or visual hallucinations. These hallucinations are real to the person who's experiencing them. And it's easy for us to brush them off as just hallucinations because we are not experiencing it. You're like, no, it's not there. Like, I'm looking around the room, there is nothing. So there is nothing for you as well. To the other person, it is as real as they come because it is real. So I always ask, and when I meet anyone who has a mental health problem, I have a real struggle because I'm looking at them and saying, oh wow, you have a gift. I never look at it as a curse. But we know that a gift that is not used, that is not tapped into, that is not a gift that is not nurtured becomes a curse very easily. So they have a gift, is how I feel. And I feel like I wish there was a way that I could help you understand what is going on so that you can use it. So those people who just randomly hear voices or see things, I always say you have an ability that is beyond the physical. I don't see things, I don't hear things, I don't hear voices, but I'm always like, you are able to do beyond what the physical body in the physical realm is able to do. That cannot be a curse. It may not be managed, but it cannot be a curse. So it is our not knowing how to process what is going on. And because there's no place that people are being kind of taught this stuff, you don't know where to go. To hear or see anything else is to be mentally ill, is to be mentally unstable. To who? To the people who are not seeing it. So I always say a person who is suffering a mental health problem is really suffering because of the lack of reconciliation, but mostly because they are trying to dumb down their gift and become normal. They're trying to block it. And that gift is like, excuse me, I'm here for a reason. I'm here for a purpose. I'm here for a healing. I'm here to do healing work. I'm here to support you so that we support other people. But you're blocking it, and it doesn't understand that you're blocking it. It probably thinks, oh, maybe today was not a good day. Tomorrow I'm going to rear my head again. You push it down. Okay. I see another opportunity to come back up, and it comes back up. Now, when that happens, we become afraid. We go into a state of fear, and fear breeds anxiety. Fear is going to make us go into a low vibrational state. There are high vibrational states and low vibrational. There are certain emotions and states of being that put us in low vibrational. Things like, in a low vibrational place, things like fear, things like sadness, things like anxiety, shame, guilt. When you start feeling like I'm ashamed of something that happens, then that shame, when you stay in that place long enough, you're going to start feeling sadness. When you stay there long enough, then you're going to start feeling anger, like I'm angry at the situation. Then from sadness, it's going to go into, so many other low vibrational emotions start to creep in. And those emotions, I believe, are also carried by entities. So these entities start latching onto your spirit, and you feel like, oh, I can't come out of this dark hole that I'm in. When you start, that's why we are told, think positive thoughts, go into a place of gratitude. Gratitude is a very, very high vibrational frequency. Very high vibrational. That's why they say list the things that you're grateful for. Once you start listing those, you start getting more and more into high vibration mode, and then other high vibrational emotions start coming in. Other high vibrational entities are like, oh, she's come back up, so let us all go and flood her with good vibes and good feelings. This is what therapy does. You're trying to get somebody to see that this is not the reality. You actually have the power. That is high vibrational. You actually are a sovereign being. You are a child of God. Then you're like, oh my God, yes, I am a child of God. I'm not an outcast. Then you start to feel positive. So when we are when these experiences happen to us, we get afraid. We're afraid to speak out. Why? Because of the stigma. Why the stigma? That person is different. That person sees things. That person has spiritual problems. So you keep quiet. You are also afraid of the unknown. What does it mean if I'm hearing voices? What are those voices? If there's no one around me, oh my God, I don't want to. But we're also afraid of that because of what we know about spirits. Where do we learn about spirits? In church? And what spirit are the churches constantly talking about? Evil spirit, spirit of fear, spirit of death, spirit of poverty, spirit. No one is talking about the spirit of happiness. No one is talking about the spirit of love. No one is talking about the spirit of gratitude. Spirits are only spirits when they're negative. Movies that show spirits, what do they show? Demons. That's what we see. But we don't see angels in movies. We don't see spirits that are coming out to annihilate the demons. Never, ever, ever. You see a movie with demons in it, and then it's a priest who's coming to exorcise. So this is telling us that when you have a demonic attack, you need a physical person to help you. Only that exorcist it's only the exorcist who has the power. And I heard that in Uganda we have only one exorcist, one real exorcist that people are like, oh my God, when you bring that one, like the demons will run away. I've been in the presence of that exorcist, both as a congregation and in fact 3 times. As a congregation, as a smaller group where I have experienced him healing, but I've also sat down with him and talked to him. And the whole time I'm just seeing what is going on. Okay? We live in a world of duality. Where there is good, there is bad. You know, whether it's really, really bad or not is another thing. But where there's equal and opposite forces of everything. So if there is something demonic, then there is the light of it. So anyway, the fear also comes from that place, and from the fact that we're never really told that there is the opposite of that, you know, spirit that you're afraid of. Then there is also just the fear of, will I ever recover from this? The other fear is, I'm not ready to carry that burden. And the one that's burdensome is where a person has a dream that individual X is going to die, and individual X dies. Like, am I a witch? Did I cause their death? Oh my God, oh my God. So you don't tell anybody. You sit with it. The next time you dream that somebody is going to die, they die. Someone in the village dies. Now you're like, oh my God, I don't want to know, I don't want to dream. You're even afraid to go to sleep. Maybe you dream that someone is going to have an accident and they have an accident. What are you supposed to do with such a gift? I can understand why you want to run as far away from it as possible. In running, you are running in the physical. Literally, you like want to cover your head. But the thing that you are experiencing is inside of you. The thing that you are experiencing is happening in not your head, in your beingness, in your spirit. So when you run from here and go to the US, or you go to England, you have gone with your spirit. And so this thing is going to be with you there. And when we realize that we cannot run, now we start to get in a place of anxiety, we start to get in a place of fear, and then we start to get in a place of, I don't want this. Maybe it's because of something that I did. I'm regretting. Why me? Do you see how now you are in a low vibrational state? I speak a lot to people who hear voices. I am so fascinated by them. But the thing that I keep asking them is, how did the voice start? For most people, it started normal. Then it starts to become negative when something negative happens. So it's almost like when you go into, when you go into a low vibrational state, you start attracting more low vibrational entities and energies. So for me, when a person says they are going through a mental health problem, I want to hear their whole story, because I want to be able to tell them that, listen, you may be ill now, but your illness did not start from illness per se. It could have started from a physical problem that put you in a low vibrational state, and now how you're processing is different. It could be that you just for one reason or another are not able to process properly because you are slipping in and out of realities. I've held back on speaking about this because I thought people will say, who are you to speak about this like this? But also I suffer when I don't. I feel like if only one person out there can resonate with this, then it's enough. If nobody resonates with it at all, if somebody is suffering a mental health problem and you don't, and this does not make any sense at all, I ask that you please say it. Because then it sends me back on my quest to say, okay, so it did not help anybody. What is it? Why do I have it? Why do I know it? But I also know that the people I have spoken to who are struggling, by the time they leave, they're feeling so upbeat and they're feeling like, okay, I can go back and I can process. I say to them, you can go and see a therapist, but don't go there completely helpless. Go there knowing that theirs is to guide you so that you do the work and you start to find yourself. Yes, sometimes we need the medication from a psychiatrist. Absolutely. But as you take that medication, you know, when you leave the psychiatrist, you're at home now. Sit with yourself and say, what is happening? Is this reality? Yes or no? And you'll be amazed at what your body will tell you, what your spirit will tell you. So for me, when we are not physically active, when we're not physically active, our spirit stagnates. It's like stagnant water. It starts to smell. It starts to become like the world becomes too small. Like you feel caged in. And you know what being caged in does. We all went through COVID. We were locked in our homes and people got sick. It's for that same reason. If you're eating food that is not serving your body, it will eventually mess with your mind. So your nutrition becomes very important. If you are physically unwell, a mosquito came and bit you, and you have malaria, and you don't get treatment, and you're sick for a long time, eventually your spirit will get sick. So it will mess with your head. So do you see now how our physical well-being is very critical for our mental state? Do you see how being in spaces of negativity, you're always angry, you're always quarreling with people, you're with people who are always bickering, always bitching about something, it grows on you and it messes with you. So my understanding of mental unwellness or mental illness is not that you are just sick. It is that life is happening to you, and when life is happening to you at that level, you can start dipping in and out of realities. In fact, we're always dipping in and out of realities, excuse me. But you are dipping into a side that in which you do not have so much control or understanding. And you get into a low vibrational state of fear, and that is what affects you. I'm going to record another video where I talk about an experience that I had one day that made me really understand this. I literally dipped into the other side for just a microsecond, but it was, I think it was really the universe's way of saying, you're on a quest, you want to know, let me show you. And I hope it can help somebody. And I also hope that this video helps us sort of lift the load off of this mental illness so that we understand that something else is happening. Thank you so much.